Alright, I think we're gonna do some vintage story videos for next little while. I'll talk more about what the game is once I load into the world, but gotta create the world first. So it's gonna be a survival world. We're gonna start temperate climate. Respawn will be default. Give me a few days to be able to look around. We'll have drops. Going to increase the amount of days per month, just because I like the sound of that and what I've been playing. I've not experimented with cave-ins, so we'll do that. I'll have fire from lightning. That sounds interesting to deal with. Chiseling most. And then color accurate world map. Temporal stability settings. 20 to 30 makes it a bit easier, but it means that it'll be like once a month then. I'm fine with that. Sleeping, nah. Should be good. Land cover, I think 80, 400. Scale 140. And then turn those off because I'm not multiplayer, so I don't need those on. Should be good to go. Create world. And this will be a modded playthrough. I've got a decent chunk of them, but Vintage Story is a voxel based crafting survival game similar to Minecraft. However, it is much more involved in the crafting process and the tiering up into the next stage of material and what you're able to work with. I've been enjoying the time that I've put into it, and so I figured I should at least record it and see if other people enjoy the way that I play. And the first things you really need to do is to just like secure some form of food and a place that you like the look of to live. Compared to Minecraft, it takes quite some time to even get to working with planks instead of instantly. It'll take probably a few play sessions. My cat is attempting to jump on my monitors. His name is Silas. So now we have to create our character. It's a nice color. Always like a purple. Are you okay, buddy? Are you having trouble sitting on my chair? Mohawk. I like it, I like it. That's fine. And then the voices are all instruments, so when you like take damage, that is the sound that'll play. Ooh, I like that one. And so then there's also the classes. The only main thing is the traits. That's what you're really looking at. And then again, this is modded, so there is additional trait changes compared to the vanilla game. But I think so. There's the hunter, which is good at hunting animals as they get more loot, and they walk faster and they have much better aiming speed and attacking. However, they are much more poor at mining for material. The malefactor, they're good at recovering things and sneaking around, but they have less starting health. The clockmaker, these ones are neat because they can make it cheaper to repair translocators, which are items that won't come into play for a while, but yet they have to be found and can't be moved, so it doesn't really mean too much at the moment. The Blackguard, these guys deal a lot more damage, however they get hungrier faster. That's the main difference. Good at maintaining clothing and armor. This is a modded one. Just I think mainly because of the 2 negative traits, I don't want to deal with that. So I think we're gonna go with the malefactor. And now we will check around. Oop, in the hole already. Alright. Slate. No, we can't. Alright, so we gotta look for flint to be able to get our tools. I think I could use the slate to at least trim this. It's good. Can I? Yes, I can. And you can look around like this to nap, or you can hold Alt and it'll bring up your cursor so you can just move your mouse. That works just fine. Got some rye here. It's pretty cool, but nowhere near grown, so I'm not even gonna bother with it. And then certain leaves will drop branches, but not every branch will. So like these ones, they have branch in the name, so they will drop them. Goat. Baby goat. Uh-oh. Am I on an island? This is gonna be an interesting start to sow. It's gonna be very complicated. Especially if I don't have the resources to be able to do a whole lot. Sweet. Copper. It's a good sign at least. Limestone? Okay, okay. Limestone, that is a necessary component of leather tanning. So that's good that we have it, but it's similar to slate and where we can't use it to make tools out of. So it would still be limited to flint for that. Some spelt, another grain. And then there are, this game loves butterflies. So you can actually, once you get into metalworking a bit, you can actually make a bug net and capture them. I've never done it, but I know that you can. Peat, that is a pretty decent fuel source. Some more rye. Okay, let's go find out if I am actually on an island or not, and then we will try and figure out if this is even, see how challenging this will be. the worms that I've picked up, which you get from right-clicking on the little stones, and there's also sticks on the ground. And if you right-click, they get automatically put into your inventory instead of dropping onto the ground. And that is the way to have those worms and such spawn in. And then you can use the worms as a means of fertilizing crops. So they are useful to have, and it is from a mod. However, oh boy, this may be a rough start. I believe in the next update, 1.22, they are adding worms as a vanilla mechanic. And fishing, so that it is like proper fishing with a fishing pole instead of bait and traps. Right, I am on an island. We've gotta get off this island so that I can find the materials to increase my inventory space, because this is, my hotbar is all I have, and I've not seen any cattails. Okay, so we're gonna make a boat or a raft. I'm so glad I gave myself a few days before enemies spawn. Okay, so since there isn't much in the way of materials here, I'm going to harvest what I can. And get out of here. Hopefully without dying in the process. I did see clay over here. Yeah, we're gonna make a shovel to make this a bit quicker. Where's that peat? All the way down there, okay. I can always find more worms. I'm gonna eat these so I can clear up the space. Alright, yeah, let's go get that peat. Church. I believe that is a rock that we could use for tools if needed. we're going to start work on some very quick pit kilns and clay forming, as I am going to try and get the needed materials to swiftly and easily get off this island and into a place where I can actually do a good start. Now I could just reset, but where's the fun in that? Do a little bit of a challenge. And for clay forming, you can change the amount that you're placing at once between a 1x1, 2x2, or 3x3. And then the fourth option is to just repeat the last layer that you crafted or placed. So just that one drastically speeds up the time. Especially for these large items, like the storage vessels and some of the molds that you can make. Just like this one. I'll do the 2x2. Boop, boop, boop. And now we'll do the 3x3. And then duplicate. And now it's done. I'm going to make another pit here, but we're going to... My cat found a toy. He's going crazy. We're going to make a few items. Just a few small items, and then we can burn all the small ones together, which is slightly more efficient, both time, space, and fuel wise. We can just put that in there. Then because that is a cooking pot, we'll need something to eat out of. So we got a bowl. Just for space reasons, that'll be it. So we're going to fill this up with grass. Oops. Alright, so now we need more sticks and a fuel source, which thankfully we are right next to this peat, so that is the fuel source I will be using, but I need the sticks first. There, grab my axe. And then for one pit kiln it is 10 dry grass, 8 sticks, and then most often it is 4 bits of fuel, like firewood, peat, coal, and charcoal, However, for the larger items, like the storage vessel, that requires twice as much, so that'll be 8. So with what I'm currently trying to fire, that'll be 12 bits of fuel, 4 for the cooking vessel and bowl, 8 for the storage vessel. And then for the branches, as you might have seen when I was chopping down the other ones, I got a seed, or a sapling. You have a greater chance of getting saplings when you're breaking the leaves, so it's always good if you want to replant to break the leaves first before chopping the wood. Oh, snake. So that way you're able to actually replant, and then you will be able to replant the tree wherever you would like. But you have a greater chance of, I think you can only get them from the ones that will drop branches, or at least the chance of getting them is vastly greater from the branchy ones rather than the regular non-branchy ones. I also need more sticks just for additional tools that I will be needing to start the fire, and also for gathering, hopefully, the resources to make a raft to be able to get out of this island with ease. Otherwise, it's gonna be a lot of swimming. I don't think any of us want to just sit through that. Alright, let's go start these fires. Sticks. Fuel. Alright, I need some more grass. Boop, boop, boop. Fire starter. Torch. Yep, that's fine. Use the fire starter to start the torch, just because that has a chance of not igniting when you're using it. This always ignites when you use it. Now crouch, holding right click, and we will start these fires. And then if you look it up in the handbook, it'll tell you how long it'll take for peat and other fuel sources to burn for cooking the pit kilns. Peat is the second slowest, firewood being the slowest. So this will still take quite a while, but it won't take as long. Okay, let's see if I can find vines on any of the... see if I can find vines on those trees. going to need the vines if I'm going to get out of here. And what happened there is that the berries I had been carrying, they were a bit more spoiled, or at least closer to spoiling than the ones I just harvested. So I had to make an inventory spot to pick up the newer ones. And then I can combine the items, which just, it averages out the freshness rate, because food does spoil in this game. Vines. Yeah, I'll carry it in my offhand for the time being. I don't have the extra food to do this for long, because just by carrying something in your offhand, you get hungrier faster. And then for a raft, uh-oh. There it is. So I think it'll be a pine one actually. But I need 3 rope for just the raft, and then we will need, okay, so we need 5 rope in total, which is 15 vines. Oh boy. Okay. Okay. Let's hope I get lucky. There's some. Alright, excellent. Okay, let's head back over to where my stuff is cooking. And then this big gear at the bottom middle of my screen, that is my temporal stability, or the equivalent of your sanity if you are familiar with other games that deal with that. Obviously the higher the better, and the lower the not so better. We're going to, just for potential future, I'm going to mark this as limestone, just so I know. Oh, piggy, baby pig. Just so I know for the future if I need limestone, and this is the only place I have found it. Okay, we're going to temporarily place my sticks down and my bags of seeds. And you can place quite a number of items on the ground like that with Control Shift right click, but some items like the dry grass, because it has an alternative use to make a fire pit when you're trying to place it on the ground, it'll only do that one unless you have a certain mod that will allow you to do otherwise. Right. Think that's enough. I could be entirely wrong. I think I am wrong. Let's find out. Craft. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, sweet. Just enough. Oh. Nose control, nose control. Okay. So you can store on the raft, you can store the ore so you don't have to carry it around with you once you dock somewhere, which is nice. I think a good idea while I'm waiting for it to cook is to get a few stacks of this stockpiled, which peat stacks in 32, logs in 16s, most everything else in 64. Oh geez, cat. Silas, what are you doing? What? Ah! Don't climb on my monitor. Okay. He's being very rambunctious this morning. And let's see if we can get another 8, and then I'm gonna go get clay. Oh jeez. Oh boy, buddy. No, mister. Stop it. Don't. He's literally re-angling my monitor. Alright, let's take Let's go chop more wood so we can turn it into firewood as needed. Because we will need that for cooking purposes. Should be good for time being. Looks like it has reached midnight by that text window popping up telling me there's only 2 days left until monsters spawn. Right, let's turn that into firewood. Shift right click and we can place it on the ground into a little wood stack. Now let's go get some clay. Whoa, mister. You're so fast. And full of energy. Oh. He hit my keyboard as he jumped over it. Okay, he almost shut my computer down. He's done that many times before. Oh my gosh. Dude. You knocked my lamp over. It's not safe. He's a very rambunctious child. I'm learning to deal with. He's only 5.5 months old. I've had him since he was 1.5 weeks old. That was a very interesting learning process to bottle feed a kitten, especially one that was so tiny and had yet to open his eyes. Alright, that should be good enough on the coal. And that is a poisonous mushroom. Yep. So there is one mod that I have that adds more types of mushrooms, and some of them look like the non-poisonous ones, but are poisonous. So I think that's actually a pretty neat choice that that creator did. Makes it a bit more realistic. So that way you have to actually like pay attention to what mushroom you are picking, so you aren't going to kill yourself with it. And then there is another mod that makes it so anything that you're like foraging in a new world, it doesn't state the name of it, and the only way to figure it out is by eating it or by checking the handbook, because the handbook does tell you. whether it is poisonous or not. But where's the fun in that? It also gives you the option to like take a little tiny nibble of it for like 1/10 of the effect to get some portion of knowledge on the item you're eating to see if it is poisonous or not. So I harvested those grains fully because they are flax, and for the future we will need a lot of flax. So while we're here, we're going to grab it as much as we can. And then we're going to be back when this finishes. Alright, and our items are done. So we're going to take a storage vessel. We're actually going to take some of the fire. I chopped down some more of the trees over there. We're going to take this to make a fire pit. Going to cook up a decent chunk of food. And then in the meantime, I'm going to put items in here for travel. Because one of the mods I have, it is, if you're familiar with Minecraft modding, you'll recognize the name, Carry On. Allows you to carry items in your hand, and there's, I think it's an additional feature, but you can put stuff on your back. All it does is just make you walk slower, but you're able to carry storage containers around the world with great ease. Very, very useful. But as I was waiting in between for these to finish, I just went around to this edge over here and increased my view distance. I can only really do that and not walk around because I don't have the strongest computer, but I was able to see a chunk of land off to the southeast. So once we got food cooked up, we're gonna head over there. And that should finish. Put this on our back. Perfect. Boop. Boop. Move that there just for brain. Boop, boop, boop. There we go. Now we're sailing. Sailing the high seas. Jeez. But, I've previously been able to, in one of my longest runs, I did make quite a bit of progress. But that was without any mods. So now I'm here, doing it again and modded, and seeing if we can get just as far, if not further. because I was able to get to... There is actually a story in this game, believe it or not. But I was able to get to the first story boss. And from there, it's kind of where I stopped, just because I wanted to both play it with friends, just for the multiplayer aspect. Still haven't really done that all too much. The couple of friends I have gotten into the game burned themselves out, unfortunately. And so I do not think that they will want to play it again. And then I also just wanted to try my hand at recording it and see how that goes. And here we are now. Interesting. Okay, we got more trees on this island at least. Yeah, maple. Yeah, oh, that's a big oak tree right in the middle above my head. We got pine. There's another oak. Birch. Okay. Those blueberries? Those are blueberries. I love blueberries. I can see a vegetable there. I think it's turnips. Flax. It's a lot of fully grown flax. The flax isn't the most nutritious, so I'm just gonna eat that right up, just to get it out of the way. Clear my hand so I can take this off. Put that away, and I can pick everything back up. Boop, boop. Boop, boop. Boop. We're going to mark my boat here. I'm gonna travel inland for a bit, because there hopefully are some fresh water on the interior of this island, which is massively bigger. Is that also limestone? No, it's granite. Very sturdy rock. Good for tools. Wolf. Okay, we should avoid that. But what I'm looking for now, fall damage, what I'm looking for now is cattails right there. Perfect. Ow. Because with cattails, I can create a little bag and get us some inventory space. There we go. Now we have some inventory space. Now I'm going to pick up these roots. So that way, whenever I do end up at my final location, wherever that may be, I can replant these and have cattails there as well. I'm missing two. Right here. That's where they were. Yep. We're actually gonna do that. Ooh, trader. So throughout the world, you'll find wagons, little campsites, stuff like that. And you'll find an NPC trader. There are different types of traders. Let's find out which one this one is. Haven't seen you around before. You just wake up. This is an agricultural supplier. Well, good morning to you. Name's McCrae. I roam around these parts, finding and trading what I can. Got anything to trade? So I can, using gears, which these are, can't take them because the area around traders are all protected by default. I don't think you can change it. So you can't mine or take or place anything near a trader. Excuse you, I'm talking McCrae. But looks like we can buy some food stuff, and we can sell some plant or animal related as well. Don't have any of these. We won't for a while, but I'm going to mark him and what type. See something weird on the map. I go that way. Hey, look at that, it's another trader. But this is a special one. Uh-oh, There's the door. Oh, jeez. Okay, so this is a treasure hunter. His name is Roy. More fanciful stuff. Looks like he will, if we had the gears, we could buy a piece to a gun from Firearms Mod. But the real important thing for him is this one. Any interesting places? Got something big for you. Too dangerous for me, but you might be able to handle it. I can't give away a haul like this for free though. Bring me a tin bronze pickaxe and I'll tell you where to find it. Trust me, it's worth your while. So that is the first story quest location. And that and marking really on my mini-map, on my map here. And narrowly avoiding death by wolf. I think that is where I'm going to call it for this first video.